Welcome, everyone. This is Audacity, episode 24.
Woohoo!
I'm Nate Fisher. I'm the Director of Communications here at the Greater Oklahoma City Chamber. Actually, we're not here at the Greater Oklahoma City.
We're not at the Chamber, as you may have seen if you're watching this on YouTube. I'm Kaylee McDaniel, the Senior Marketing Manager at the Chamber. We're so excited to be on location at Lively, and we are going to talk to Alena Chesney and Marissa Raglin about some cool things that are going on here at the brewery, both related to beer and not beer. So we're excited to jump into that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we're live here at Lively Beer Works. Lively Beer Works is a new chamber member, which we're very appreciative of. And I'd like to start a little bit with Alena Chesney with Lively Beer Works. And I'm always interested to hear a little bit about businesses' origin stories. What is sort of the origin story behind Lively Beer Works?
Yeah, our founder, Patrick Lively, that's how we got the name.
It's a great name, by the way.
It works, yeah. Patrick Lively has been working in beer in Oklahoma City for over a decade now. He's worked in a couple of different local breweries, and he met his business partner, Nick Williams, in 2015, and they've kind of been working together ever since. And they're both Oklahoma boys. Both from Yukon, nice. Oklahoma.
Nice.
And so, they wanted to kind of open their own thing, and they brewed their first beer for Lively in 2018 in October, and we opened the doors on this facility that you see behind us in December of 2019. Which was just in time for, the roller coaster of events that have happened over the last
What a great
2 years.
time to open a new business. So it's such a great timing.
Exciting is the word. But we're still here. There's been shortages and COVID and supply issues and all kinds of things. But, that's basically it. We are excited to get up every day and make beer for the community and do what we can to be part of Oklahoma City.
Right.
That's kind of what we're here for.
Okay,
I think we're going to
cool.
talk a little bit more about the beers in a second, but what I'd like to talk about first is what you guys think sets you apart as a brewery in our community.
We're actually really lucky in Oklahoma to have an awesome beer community, all over the state, and it's just growing all the time. So I don't think that we're really trying to reinvent any wheels or do anything crazy. What we're trying to do is make really drinkable, straightforward beer that we want to drink. We want it to be delicious and have lots of variety for lots of different people. And then also we want to have a space where we can invite the community in. We love doing things here like doggy adoptions and charity drives and nonprofit fundraisers. And definitely local art is another big thing that we've been pushing for the last little over a year now. We've been working with Josh Vaughn,
He's our fearless cameraman.
Yeah, fearless cameraman, and also Marissa's business partner. So they'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but he's been curating art in our tap room and bringing local artists in. And so that's something that we're definitely also very passionate about here at Lively.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, and so we should also introduce Marissa Raglin here, and you're with Rally, correct?
That's right.
Okay, and so Marissa's going to talk to us a little bit about one of the events that is coming up here at Lively, a very cool and very big art show, and so that's actually called the Lively Show, and so we're going to hear a little bit more about that. But to kind of lead into that, I know that Lively has a series of sort of experimental beers called the Lab Series, and I love how you guys have also worked in sort of an artistic component with that as well. So tell us a little bit about the Lab Series.
Basically, to tell you about that, I would first tell you that we have a line of core beers, is what we call them, and these are the beers that are available statewide, kind of all the time. It's like our IPA, our Mexican lager, our amber lager. These are beers that are just core to us, and the packaging looks like that as well. It's very brand forward, simple, what you're getting into, and so that's kind of the bread and butter of Lively. What we do on the side for our very fun, creative component is our Lively Lab series. And these are beers that we release one time only, and we get to play with flavors and styles and definitely the packaging. We have worked with local artists and local graphic designers. We even did one with a band, which was really fun.
Yeah.
So it's kind of our side project that we get to just play with every day.
Yeah.
And so it's been a really fun project for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. So just once, huh? That's a bummer because that Dear Joy was
you really
amazing.
Love it.
Yeah.
If you really love it, then you can't have it again.
This is what I tell people in the tap room all the time. Like, you're going to love it here because there's always something new to fall in love with, and you're going to hate it here because there's always going to be something that's no longer here. So I don't know what to tell you. Make your peace with it and try to find your next new love. That's all I can say.
Right, yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
I mean, if you like to try new things, come to the tap room often because they always have new stuff on tap for sure. So talk a little bit about the Lively show and sort of just give us an overview, if you guys would, of that event that's coming up.
Yeah, so the Lively show is a 2-night ticketed art event that we are so excited to have here at Lively Beer Works. Josh and I founded Rally because we wanted to really cultivate creativity through community. And so one of those ways was, hey, Alena came to us, I want to do an art show here at Lively Beer Works. And we were envisioning this tap room space that we currently have art on the walls that Josh is curating. She was like, no, in the production space. So the idea to step beyond and even see how things are made here at Lively, I think, is a fun component to the Lively show. We put out our call for entry a couple months ago and asked for Oklahoma City-centric artists to come in and showcase their works, mixed media work, paintings, some ceramic submissions as well. And so from 2D to 3D, we were amazed with the quality of work that we got, all representing the Oklahoma City Metro. We had a guest juror come in, a local artist by the name of Ebony Amon Dallas, join us to curate the works. That is a little taste of what the Lively show is. We are showcasing, it's a 2-night ticketed event on November 5th and 6th from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Okay.
Showcasing Oklahoma City art scene, celebrating them. We have cash awards for our artists, as well as a Viewer's Choice Award. So we're really hoping to increase those ticket sales, get people to come in for this event. And tickets are on sale now and also available at the door.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. And where can people get tickets? And we'll drop a link to that in the show notes as well.
Yeah. So rallyokc.com is our website, and that's where you'll be directed to buy tickets.
Okay. Well, and that's a good lead into my next question is really talk a little bit about Rally and, how did that come about? And, give us your origin story of this effort.
Yeah. So, after working with Alena and realizing that we want to have an opportunity for artists to sell their work during this exhibition, we realized that, Josh and myself come together and celebrate the artist community and give them that opportunity to sell their work, process their sales, take a small commission to just process those sale fees, and then also do a reduced submission fee. So really celebrating the artists here, specifically with the Lively show. Rally started in its name. It's right in its core, right? Is just to rally around Oklahoma City artists, support them, create opportunities to exhibit their work, to sell their work, and create those, stepping stone tools to make an artist successful here in Oklahoma City.
That's cool. It's very emblematic of, partnerships. We love when businesses partner with each other, and, it just helps everybody in Oklahoma City. So, yeah, this is another great example of this. So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. So, Alena, I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about how you decided that, hey, we need an art show here at Lively, and kind of your history of, like you said, exhibiting art here in the brewery and how it kind of transitioned into this event.
We have this space here, and, when we were talking about opening Lively, it's, what I was talking about before. We want to be part of this community. That's why we're in Oklahoma City. We love this city, and we love where it's going, and there's so much going on here. And so we're just constantly looking for new ways to get involved and support local initiatives in general. But we got all this wall space. And so it seemed like a no-brainer to try to find someone whose forte would be curating art for that space. And just getting people's names out there a little bit more. And so that's where Josh Vaughn came in. He has been curating this. We do a 2-month rotation for different artists. And it's been going it's so fun to see all the different things coming together. All the different styles that people do and things like that. And he is very contagious with his love for art and local artists. And so the more I was talking to him, the more I was I've never done anything like this, but what if we maybe talk about an art show? And lucky for me, he was excited about it, and he kind of ran with it, and that's how Rally kind of came about. And I think beer and art is a natural
Natural pairing.
It's a natural pairing. So I think it was just kind of like a really organic evolution of, what Lively is about and what we want to do. And I mean, honestly, we're really hoping to make this an event that we do, annually.
That's exciting.
But it's just kind of like really at the core of what Lively is about.
Sure. So you spoke a little bit earlier about the guest curator program. So I was wondering if you could expound more on that, about how you choose the person, maybe tell us a little bit more about the artist that was chosen to fulfill that role this year.
Josh and I when we were thinking about who should be a part of the Lively show, we really wanted a local artist that is making waves here and is really she's showcasing her work. She's encouraging other artists to come with her. She is inclusive. And so Ebony Amon Dallas was a natural fit for this role. She was able to come in and jury the works. The guest juror program within Rally is that we will have a different set of eyes looking over the work. So to ensure that, if you didn't get into this Lively show, that you'll get into maybe the next one. So we'll always have a different perspective and make sure that our exhibitions and events are inclusive to all visual art and their mediums.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you mentioned a little bit about cash prizes for the artists for this show. Yeah. So you talk a little bit about, do you want to give us some more details on kind of what's that looking like?
Yeah, we actually have a few sponsors I do want to recognize that have helped us make these cash prizes available, and that's Mason Realty. They have come on board and allowed all of our artists to attend. We'll be selecting those artists tomorrow, and all of the artists will be able to attend the event for free both nights, along with a +1. So super shout out to him for
very cool.
Steve Mason for making that happen.
Also chamber member.
That's right.
Oh, yay. Awesome. We also were able to have sponsorships from Amy Young as well as Literati Press. David Schweitzer as well joined as well to really offer these cash prizes to these artists. We are offering a cash honorarium to our guest juror, Ebony Amon Dallas. And the cash prizes are our Curator's Choice Award, which I'll let Alena talk a little bit about her side of that award. But the cash prize is $200. And I'll let her talk about the Curator's Choice Award and what that entails.
Yeah. So as I was talking about before, we have our Fun Creative Lab series. And so one of the awards is going to be the label for our next beer is going to be the art that wins that portion.
Yeah. So that's very
we're
cool.
so excited for that, and we're going to be able to see that art and try to make a beer that kind of goes with it. And so it's just like a really fun way of pairing beer and art again.
So your team will see the winning art and then create a beer based on that.
We'll create a beer based on that, and then the label will be the actual art.
I love it.
Yeah. So I mean, just that alone, and sharing with Oklahoma City artists that you have the opportunity to be on the limited edition lab series Lively beer can, that alone I think just reverberated through the art community of I want to get my art on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's a big cash prize and an opportunity for artists, as well as we'll have 2 honorable mentions at $50 a piece, and then we have a Viewer's Choice Award. So we're really encouraging again those ticket sales that you can get at rallyokc.com. So if you come and view the work, we want you to vote on which one you like the most. It's cash a prize of $100, as well as a prize pack from Lively and a gift card here. So we're really encouraging people to come for maybe not just one night, but both nights.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
very cool.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So this is sort of the next big event at Lively. What else is coming up here at Lively that you'd like the viewers to know about?
Yeah. So our next big push after the Lively show, which is hard to even think about because we're so excited about this. We've been working on it for months. But our next big thing is going to be our Lively Birthday Festival, and that's going to be December 11th, and that's our 2nd anniversary party. Yay. And it's going to be a festival-style tickets in advance, and it'll be in here, also back in the warehouse space, just like the Lively show. Festival style. So you get the cup and
try a bunch of different types.
Yeah, we're going to have hopefully about 100 different beers to choose from.
Wow,
we're going to have all of our local friends bring beer. So
awesome.
It's going to be a birthday party. It's going to be so much fun.
That's
and we'll have food and music and we're just going to celebrate making it for 2 years.
You made it
Awesome.
2 years through a pandemic. I think that is definitely worth 100 different beer types. You know, that sounds
time
amazing.
to celebrate.
Exactly.
How cool is that? Yeah, that's awesome.
And those tickets will also be available everywhere tickets for the Lively Show are available, which, except for RallyOKC.com. You won't be part of that one, but it will still be, livelybeerworks.com, Instagram, Facebook. Everywhere that you find information about Lively, you can get our tickets.
Yeah, so we'll definitely have a link to that in the show notes as well.
If people are listening to this interview, they're intrigued about the Lively brand, where can they find your beer?
Yeah, so we have beer statewide. Currently, we are only in Oklahoma, but you can find Lively all over the state.
Nice.
Grocery stores, liquor stores, restaurants. If you have a local liquor store and you don't see what you're looking for, maybe ask them, because there's a chance that they can get it in. And always one of the best ways to try what is new and fun at Lively is to come to our tap room. We have 18 taps, so we always have our core beers on, and then we always have something new to fall in love with.
Fantastic.
So,
Right. And where are you guys located?
we are in downtown Oklahoma City. We are right on Oklahoma City Boulevard, about half a mile from Scissortail Park.
Perfect. Yeah, you guys got to come out and see and check this out.
It's a beautiful
and we're
location.
having beautiful location. Mm-hmm. We're having some lovely beers right now. I'm having the tangerine cream ale. What are you sampling on there?
Stout, the only kind of beer I will drink. So I'm just glad they had it on
chocolate raspberry stout.
You can
that
taste
is
the
a good
chocolate
one.
and the raspberry.
I love that's
really,
the digital love, right?
Really
that's
delightful.
One of my favorites. I got some of that when it came out. So that's fantastic.
My current favorite is our rice lager.
Okay. And then you the Mexican lager?
Yes, that's
right.
my favorite.
Awesome.
And that's a core beer, so that's not going away.
Thank goodness.
Chef's kiss. Took your chef's kiss.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us here today. We're so excited to be here. Appreciate your hospitality and can't wait to come to the Lively Show. It sounds fantastic.
Get your tickets.
This is great. And you guys come see the Lively Show, get your tickets, come see Lively Beer Works, check them out, and get their stuff wherever the best of Oklahoma beers are sold.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much to Marissa and to Alena for speaking with us about Lively and the Lively Show, and I'm really excited about this.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about the whole thing. Like this is fantastic. I love that Lively's on board with the chamber and all the good beer. You guys really got to come and check this out if you haven't already.
And I know you guys heard that Josh Vaughn has been involved in the process. We also have 2 staff members that have entered the Lively Show. So the chamber has a lot of skin in the game for this one. It feels like I'm very invested in the outcome. Can't wait to come and see all the wonderful art that's going to be here in a couple of weekends.
Absolutely.
So before we adjourn, we did have a couple of
things.
Random news that we need.
Right.
I feel like we have a lot going on in Oklahoma City lately.
There is a lot going on.
We're exhausted a little bit.
Absolutely.
But we do have a rundown of stories that recently appeared on VelocityOKC.com that we wanted to call your attention to.
Right.
The first one we want to talk about is the Build My Future event on October 26th. Now, this comes from us from COBA, which we have a good friend that's the executive director out there. So shout out to Elisa. Hello. Nate, what can you tell us a little bit about this event?
Yeah, this is actually a really cool event, and this is put on by the local Professional Women and Builders Building Association Council of our local Central Oklahoma Home Builders Association. And so basically what this is it's a career day for high schoolers that may be interested in skilled building trades. So if you're familiar with any of the work with like that Mike Rowe does and trying to get people interested in hands-on occupations, there's a lot of money to be made in these sorts of trades, skilled trades.
You don't necessarily have to have a college education, which can also kind of help financially if that's something that you can't pay for necessarily. So, and, when I was reading about this event, they talked about how it really founded because there is a shortage.
Yes, there's a
people
great
to
need.
do this work, and across the United States and also here in Oklahoma City. So, I also think it's cool that it's done by the professional women that are in building, just allowing women in high school who are like, oh yes, I could do this. This is a career path for me. Right. So I think that's important to show them, if you can see it, you can be it. So shout out to them for this important event. That's going to be October 26th.
So we've got information about that on VelocityOKC.com. So we'll have a link to that in the show notes and in the comm box. So that's very cool. So you guys definitely check that out. If you know anybody that's in high school, they're not really sure about, what they are looking to do in their future. This is, again, lots of money to be made, a really good career path if you're interested.
And lots of jobs open.
Lots of jobs open. Yeah, you can basically write your own ticket. And we saw some pictures of the previous event, and they had a lot of really cool stuff going on out there. So, I'm always I think I'm always like a 5-year-old boy, and I want to drive that forklift,
like,
and I want to use the backhoe, and I want to,
Maybe you should go to this
exactly.
event.
It's like,
Might be for you.
I've got some of that going on. I want to operate that crane, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's very cool. So lots of good opportunity there. And so
October 26th is a busy day because there is another important event. This one came to us from Lacey Blanton of DRG. She's a member of our Connect class right now. And their organization is hosting a service to civilian career support and assistant for vets. So this is kind of a job fair to help people who are in the service transition to employment outside of the U.S. military.
Right.
So her organization is putting on this event. It's interesting. We have a pretty large population of people who have served here, of course, with Tinker Air Force Base being close by. And I've read that it can be pretty hard for a person to transition from that, service role to civilian role. So the whole point of this event is to help people make that transition, find gainful employment, use the skills that they have developed in the military in the private sector. So that we also have information on velocityokc.com about.
And not just for the service member themselves, but also for family members and things like that. So sounds like a really cool event, and it's in a really cool space too, because it is at the Fidelity Bank Club at the ballpark, which is, if you haven't been there, that's very, very, very cool. So DRG Delaware Resource Group, they're a chamber member as well, so we appreciate that. So. And then we've also got news. You guys may have seen, there's always some good airport news these days, it seems like. So we actually have had a couple of new nonstop flights from Oklahoma City that have recently been announced, and one is to and from Austin.
That's right.
And the next one is to and from LaGuardia in New York City.
So that was a long desired flight from Oklahoma City to LaGuardia that got delayed because of the pandemic.
Right.
So this was announced a couple of years ago. The start date didn't work out because of the turmoil in the industry because of the pandemic, like I said. But now that flight will start. I believe it's in early November, November 2nd. So we will be celebrating at the airport at 4:45 that morning because, why not? Let's do it.
And I believe I've heard that Perrin is going to be there in a Statue of Liberty costume to help celebrate that thing. So
the real Statue of Liberty will make an appearance on November 2nd at the airport. But, I just want to point out, it is so important when Oklahoma City gets new nonstop flights. A lot of these are kind of driven by desire paths. So airlines are incredibly driven by statistics, and they examine, hey, what flight do we need? What are people flying from Oklahoma City to New York, but they're having to stop in Dallas or somewhere else? So it's important that we support these, because if we don't use it, we will lose it. But like I said, this was something that had been in the works before the pandemic, and now that air service is starting to recover, we're excited to have that path. And of course, Austin, also a great flight to have. We're excited to welcome both of those to the Oklahoma City Will Rogers World Airport.
That's right, and those are both on American Airlines, and the new terminal expansion has just recently opened. Which is very cool. So
beautiful.
Got an article on that. Yeah, absolutely. On velocityokc.com as well, with a lot of pictures, so you can kind of check out what that looks like. But yeah, I'm looking forward to actually getting out there myself.
I was going to ask if you have any trips planned that are coming up.
I do. I've got a trip planned. Coming up here, we're going to try to go overseas to Amsterdam and to London and to Dublin, and then
that's this month in November.
In November. So I'm excited about that, and then
that's awesome.
So I'm excited to check out the new airport facilities and all that stuff. So how about you? Do you have any trips that you're thinking about taking?
I feel like you just asked this question because you want to brag about your 2 international trips that are coming up. I don't have any, you guys, but I will say, and this is a chamber event plug, so I'm going to give it. Okay. We've decided for 2022 that our intercity visit is going to be in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So when we plan these big trips that are out of town, normally what happens is that Cynthia, our boss, and I will take an advance trip, and we'll go meet with people. We'll look at venues. We will kind of examine, what do we want the day to look like while we're there? So tentatively, that will happen in December. Do you want to know what the average high in Milwaukee in December is, Nate?
I do.
It's 42 degrees. I have to buy a coat for this. I'm not prepared. But that will be my next trip, theoretically, out of the airport. So I'm excited to fly again after it feels like a very long time.
Awesome. Well, yeah, Milwaukee. Speaking of beer, it sounds like it's going to be cold beer, too.
Yes, cold beer. Maybe it's stout season up there, which works out for me really well.
That's right.
But we will see how that goes. And, I'm going to have to do better and try to get some international trips on my calendar. But as of right now, that's the only one I had planned.
Okay, lástima. No, that's cool. That'll be great. That'll be great. So the other thing that we wanted to let you guys know about is we've got a really nice OKC Trails update. So, we talk a little bit about, I think, on this podcast over the years of, running and cycling and some of the other stuff that we do.
What he means is Nate talks about that because I don't do that.
Well,
but yes.
So you have used the trails. You know the trails
I have.
existence.
I know they exist. I walk around them every once in a while.
There you go. Okay. That's what they're there for. Yeah. But there were actually quite a number of trail improvement projects and some things that were included in the Better Street, Safer City package that we voted on in 2017, I believe. 2017. Yeah. And so those are starting to come to fruition now that money has been collected. So again, debt-free, like we like to do stuff here in OKC. So that's cool. So we've got a nice update on Velocity OKC about some of those trail projects. I think there were 13 different trail projects. Some new connections and some new signage and wayfinding things. And so if you're a trail user, you may have seen, I think they're getting ready to put in some new mile marker type things. So you can see that work being done, at least on the river trails. That's the one I use all the time. The North River Trail is
I was going to ask if you have like a connection that you're really excited about. Is there anything that you're really looking forward to trying out once it's done?
Yeah, well, actually, and we've had a couple of pieces on this on Velocity, but you can actually ride from the boathouse if you're riding or running if you'd like. You can go from the boathouse all the way to Lake Hefner.
Yeah,
and there has always been sort of a trail, kind of along Northwest Expressway, but there's actually going to be a bridge that you will be able to take, so that you won't have to kind of cross traffic on Northwest Expressway. So that's exciting. Cool. I know that there is another extension on the Hefner Trails, which a lot of people use. That is, I believe that's currently being worked on, and they're doing some improvements on the Katy Trail and the Deep Fork Trail as well. So that's very cool. So if you guys, again, this is an amenity that we have in Oklahoma City that, not a lot of other cities have as an extensive of a trail network. I mean, you really can get a lot of places on the trails if you'd like.
And something I want to mention too is that the city of Oklahoma City released a few years ago kind of a master plan for their trails, and that's the guiding document that's helping them decide where to invest some of this publicly funded, sales tax revenue, et cetera, go bonds towards these infrastructure updates. So if you're kind of curious, where's all this headed? What's this going to look like in 15 years? You can go to their website and look up kind of what that master plan is, and it's pretty cool. If I remember correctly, they want to make an entire loop around the city with a trail network so that you could ride basically the circumference of Oklahoma City.
Right.
You run, you can ride your bike, etc., which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, we're getting very close, so that's awesome. So speaking of public investment, we've got a rundown of the MAPS 4 kind of overall implementation plan. So if you're curious as to how those projects are going to roll out, I think there were 16 different projects in MAPS 4. And so, there's a lot. Multiple sub-projects. So we've got an article on that on velocityokc.com as well. So we'll drop a link to that in the show notes. So you guys definitely check that out. Lots of stuff to be excited about in MAPS 4. What are you most looking forward to?
Well, I was going to say we just had an event last week called Leadership Summit. That's an event that's open to chamber investors that are at the board of advisor level and up. So this is kind of our higher level chamber members. It's a once a year event, and we had a section of that event that featured Teresa Rose. She is kind of overseeing the MAPS 4 implementation on the citizen side of it.
Okay.
And we got to hear from 4 representatives of the various projects. And I just think it's so interesting how MAPS 4 shifted its focus a little bit. In the past it had really been about these big revenue generating projects exactly like the Paycom Arena or Center, I think is what they call it now, the ballpark in Bricktown, etc. We still have that. We have the multi-purpose stadium. We have some improvements for the gym. They're going to redo the Jim Norick Arena at the State Fairgrounds. So those are going to be super important. They're going to bring in tourism. They're going to allow for that kind of generation of additional sales tax dollars.
Spending money to make money.
We're also seeing about 70% of the funds going into more neighborhood, public health, mental health needs. I think that part is really exciting. What I think is most exciting is that the MAPS program is design that we can kind of pivot to what the greatest need is in the community. And I'm excited to see some of those all come into fruition. It really feels like the package meets a lot of needs, and seeing that come online is going to be really exciting.
Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, yeah. Myself, I'm looking forward to the soccer stadium.
I figured you were.
Yeah.
I figured you were.
I just think that's going to be awesome.
Okay, so Sue Hollenbeck, she used to work at the CVB. Now she's with the city of Oklahoma City. She mentioned, like, wouldn't it be cool if high schools in Oklahoma could play their football championships in Oklahoma City?
Right.
Did you think about it? And when I was in high school from Idabel, Oklahoma, our basketball team came to the state fairgrounds, played their championship game, won. That was such a special memory.
Right.
And the fact that we don't have that same experience for football in our capital city of the state is kind of silly. So having something like that, it's more than just soccer. It's going to meet the needs of a lot of different groups. And you're
Absolutely.
right. I'm super excited to see that happen.
That's a need that the community has. I think that's kind of one thing, kind of our the most glaring thing that we're lacking, I think.
Sure. She even made the comment that it's like we're one of the largest cities that don't have this kind of facility located inside of it. So excited to see that come to fruition.
Yeah, so that's cool. We've also been named, recently we've been the subject of a host of very nice third-party accolades, but we
love those. We love third-party accolades.
Also recently named the #1 city for likelihood of restaurant recovery by Lending Tree. So that prompted me to think about, going out to eat in restaurants, and so sort of what are your go-to restaurants when you think about going out to eat?
One thing that I have grown to love, and it used to be right by my house. I just moved to a new area of Oklahoma City, but I have been back to visit it, is Clark Crew Barbecue. Have you ever had this?
I have, yeah.
Oh my gosh, it is so good. It's one of the best barbecue places in Oklahoma City, and I'm not even sure if they're chamber members. This is just an unfiltered.
I was going to say.
It's delicious.
Careful.
I am going to contact our membership department right after this and say, go get them, because they have amazing barbecue. And you know what my favorite thing is? Deviled egg on top of a pickle slice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's mind-blowing. It's so good. So I think, I don't know if I would call that necessarily my favorite restaurant, but it's probably the one I go to the most frequently.
Okay.
I love it so much, and it is delicious and just always a consistent, wonderful experience.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. They
it's
do
outside
a great
of
job.
Nate's bubble, so I'm impressed that you've been.
It is outside of my bubble, but I have had it before. Yeah, and it's great.
It is really good. It's really good. Their baked beans are also really, really good.
For sure.
But, there are lots of places in the downtown center that I love. I go to Barrios quite frequently. I love Hall's Pizza Kitchen. I go to Iguana all the time. I used to have a standing Tuesday night date with myself where I would go get a margarita at the bar, eat chips and guacamole, and have a taco.
Nice.
It's a great night.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great way to
really
treat
good
yourself.
night. So,
Awesome.
I have a few favorites.
Awesome.
What about you?
Okay. Well, I love my garage burgers.
The Theta burger is the best burger in town.
I mean, I prefer the Egginator myself. You get that egg on top of that sucker, but that's pretty good.
Eggs.
Yeah, what? But the
deviled eggs.
Yeah.
That's different. There's a pickle involved. It's really good. The pickle really makes it for me.
Okay. Well, that's fair. Okay. That's cool. Everything's better with a pickle. You heard it here first. But
the Egginator is popular. I feel several people I know order that one every time.
But the garage is a chamber member, so that's cool. I also like New State Burgers. If you have not been there to check that out at the plaza, they make a mean burger themselves.
So what I'm hearing is you like hamburgers.
I do like them.
Okay,
burgers.
I see it. That's good.
But yeah, so #1 for likelihood of restaurant recovery. So that's cool.
That's positive, because I do know. All jokes aside, it has been a hard couple of years, and to see kind of our friends struggle through that is not fun, but I'm hoping now that things return to normal that all of our restaurants will be rebounding alongside all the rest of us.
And we have so much to offer here. You just almost can't keep up with all the stuff, and you want to hit your old favorites and you want to try the new things, and we all got to go out to eat more often, I think, because that's the key.
Yes, I love this message. You heard it here. Let's eat out more often, less cooking at home. I like it. There you go.
So the last thing I wanted to leave you guys with is there's actually a new program called, and I don't have a good way to transition into this, so we're just going to, but there's a new program called
I didn't know where it was going.
A Better Way OKC, which we've run a few articles on the issue of homelessness in Oklahoma City on velocityokc.com recently. and some of the things that are being done to help address this problem, because I think this is becoming something that's a little bit more top of mind for everyone in town. And so this is a program to sort of help people that panhandle, instead of sort of panhandling, then they can actually do some beautification work.
That's right,
instead and make some money. And
it's an opportunity. So if someone from the city in this program saw or knew of an area where there was a lot of panhandling, they could respond to that and say, hey, we actually need your help beautifying this, area of Oklahoma City, and we'll pay you for that. So it is kind of an interesting program that not only addresses finding employment for people who are experiencing homelessness, but it's also working on beautifying our city.
Right.
I love the way that those two are working together in a Better Way program. This is pretty recent. I want to say they just launched us in September.
Yeah,
or so.
just last month.
Yeah, it's a new program.
Yeah, new program, and it's modeled after a similar successful program that was started in Tulsa, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So it's got some kind of local roots as well. So we've got some information on that on velocityokc.com as well. So be sure to check that out. So I think that wraps it up for today, right?
A varied list, but we got through it all.
But we're so glad to be here at Lively Beer Works.
If
you guys have not been to the tap room or have not tried any of their beers, please do check them out. Come check this place out. Come check out the Lively Show. Get tickets for that and come see some of your favorite local artists and try some of your favorite local beer. And this is going to be great. So if you guys have feedback for us, the best way to get that to us is networking at okcchamber.com. Just as sort of an old school email.
He's so
networking
at
okcchamber.com.
Or if you want to be in 2021, you can look for us on social media at OKC Chamber at almost every location.
At almost all of our
platforms.
Except for
TikTok, because Nate said no.
We don't have TikTok. We've got almost everything else. We've got Twitter, which my new theory is Twitter is kind of the junior high of social networks in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
It's a little bit rough out there.
It's a little rough.
Everybody's trying to sort of one up everybody else. There's a lot of fighting for no reason.
A little bit of mean-spiritedness.
A little mean-spirited. A lot of fake drama. Yeah. Mountains out of molehills, that sort of thing. And
I really like Instagram. It's just a lot of pretty pictures. So, and we try to post a few of those. Perrin does a great job about covering our events. So you can find us at social media at
OKCChamber.com generally.
.com.
Yeah,
I did
just
that last
at
time.
OKC Chamber.
You did
do that last time. At OKC Chamber.
You can visit our website, okcchamber.com, and we will get back to you no matter where you provide your feedback.
That's right.
The best thing you can do for our podcast, though, is you can go to iTunes and leave us a review, help other people find the information that we're putting out there.
Right.
5 stars only. Thanks.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't already.
And wherever you find your podcast.
That's right. So thank you guys. We will see you next time.
Bye.